Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at the last Battle Pass vehicle, and I think it's fair to say this vehicle is good, but pretty boring. It's the B7A2 Homare 23 Ryusei, and basically what this is a copy of the B7A2 that we have in the game, but it has access to a new engine. It is going to be a rank 3 Japanese premium, which will obviously boost the ranks of the area, and also be useful in ground and naval because of pretty fun ordnance. If you've ever used the B7A2, you know the capabilities of this machine, and I'm sure many people will enjoy it if they don't want to grind out the aviation Japanese tech tree. Let's get into the history of this vehicle. The Aichi B7A Ryusei carrier-based bomber was under the Imperial Navy program of 1941, but Aichi was able to start mass production only in 1944. Due to the lack of aircraft carriers suitable for its development, the aircraft operated mainly from ground airfields. It was also used for kamikaze missions. During testing, one B7A2 was supposedly equipped with the Homare 23 engine, a modified version of the M1K2's Homare 21 instead of the default Homare 12, to compensate for the shortage of engines. Together with the experimental model, a total of 105 units of the B7A2 were produced. I kind of like the wording there of the history part, where it says supposedly it was equipped with a Homare 23 engine. It's just another vehicle for Japan in War Thunder, which hopefully existed instead of definitely did. The B7A2 is a fantastic vehicle. There's not really a lot to be annoyed about. It fits its role fantastically well when it comes to War Thunder, being a ground realistic and also naval monster. The only issue with it really is in air realistic it isn't that useful because its bomb loads don't really fit the air realistic model too well, but in air arcade it can do very good stuff as well. One of the things that's key about the B7A2 and has been for its existence very similarly to stuff like the IL-2 and the IL-10 is it's actually able to fight back. It's a bomber slash attacker which can go after the enemies and can actually maneuver and take them out. Without a bomb load, or after removing the bomb load or torpedo load, the B7A2 is actually quite maneuverable. Because of its wings and elevator, it can really pull some crazy maneuvers, following a lot of the general Japanese presets we see in the game of super maneuverability, if not a reduction in speed. If this thing has the Homare 23, it technically should be quite a nice setup on it. Hopefully, in general, it'll be able to have a bit more of a boost of power and probably not change the BR too much of the vehicle. It also has a pair of 20mm cannons. Now, these are Japanese cannons, so don't get carried away. They're not exactly crazy, but at the same time, they have improved them quite a lot over the last little bit. The one thing, at least for me, is as a fan of the B7A2, this one is also going to be good. Like, it's going to be good in naval, it's going to be good wherever you want it. The 800 kilo bomb can be fantastic in ground forces, and if it fits in that Cheeto Late, Chinu 2 lineup, which it still should do, it should have a great time. It can also carry two 250s and also, of course, the big old 800, but the torpedo is really where it's at, meaning that it can be incredibly useful in naval forces as well. There's a lot of love, at least in my heart, for the B7A2, and just like a lot of the Japanese aviation tree, which is really fun to play, the B7 is no exception. The Japanese really struggle with bombers, which actually have a lot of clout behind them. Not a ton of them actually have like a ton of bomb load or damage, but stuff like the B7 can get in, get out, and then also perform a secondary role, which can be really useful for the vehicle. Being a rank 3 as well means that it can do all dailies and all specials, which is fantastic, and at the same time, it can also do pretty much, research of rank 1 to 4 aviation for Japan, which will be nice. Don't think it's really needed though, because, as I said, like Japan as a nation from rank 1 to 4 is very strong. The only time it really starts to struggle is actually in the jet era. So this B7 should, at least be a nice addition to lineups, but I don't think it's required for grinding. There's also a lot better premium vehicles than this, if that's, what you're going for. Stuff like the A7, for example, would be a better fit for a premium than this. So the vehicle is good, it will be nice in lineups. It's a good gap filler, or a good lineup filler for people who don't grind out the standard Japanese tech tree, but also at the same time, it is boring as all hell. The Italian vehicle is pretty boring this time, but at least it serves a good purpose of grinding out the tech tree. With this one, only rank 1 Japan is pretty rough. Everything else in the Japanese tech tree from these BRs and also ranks are pretty good. So, like, you don't really need, like, a B7 to get you through. So it's just dull. I don't know how else to put it. It's not. Do you think anybody's gonna like raise off their seats and go, "Oh, a supposed variant of the B7 that may have existed? Let's go!" It's going to be a very small percentage of the overall War Thunder population that is going to be interested in a vehicle like this. And that is, a bit of a problem. It's obviously nice to see minor nation representation. That's always positive to see. And we have 2 of them in this Battle Pass, which is fantastic, with Italy and also Japan. But the main prize, the big old, German vehicle with the recoilless, hopefully will be something that pushes this thing through. After seeing the armor breaking ambusher as a overall title, I was hoping maybe we would get some kind of jet, which would be the highest or the top battle pass vehicle, which would offer some cast support. Instead, we get the B7A2, which does the same, but is a little bit more boring. We're going to have to see the themes for this one, because right now it's looking like a pretty poor battle pass for many people. For me, I'll do it because I like having those vehicles. They're all going to be useful for dailies. They're all going to be useful for specials, even if they are kind of dull. As always, though, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Millie Draper, Juan the Panda, Nick R. Kupila, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie B. Young, Peter Grayling, Jerry Provolt, Bareen, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, Derek R., and Lafouche for supporting the channel.